Good morning, St. Lucia. For those of you who are on island, those of you in the diaspora, and let's welcome individuals in the wider world. Thank you for tuning in to the National Television Network. It is Wednesday, the 3rd of November, and November is rolling off. Remember, it is just as busy as October with observances and celebrations. And this November, you know, as always, it's business month in St. Lucia. And we'll be speaking with the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture. And if it's business month, there's a participation for the Chamber of Commerce. As always, the spotlight is there. And as part of business month, we have the Global Entrepreneurship Week. And Homer, this is where all our bright young stars and, you know, business-minded get to shine, and those who are trying to find their way as to what it is that they can do business-wise, advice is given and so forth. So I'm tapping you, Homer. I'm tapping you. That's the creative one here, and NTN, one of the creatives. So, good morning, Homer. How are you feeling today?
Good morning, Lisa. Happy that we've made it to the middle of the week. We're progressing quite nicely towards the end of the week, and of course through the business month observances as well. Global Entrepreneurship Week kicking off on Monday. That is the 8th of November. So that is definitely something to look forward to. And yes, Lisa, I'm trying. I'm one of those trying. I'm working my way there. I get the hints, the pushes, the nudges.
You get that, and we're 2 days away, just to say, but that's on a different note. Let's say good morning to the Executive Director for the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, is Mr. Brian Louisy, who is joining us via Zoom on this Wednesday morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, listening public. It's a pleasure to be here to share a little bit about Global Entrepreneurship Week.
And as we said earlier there, Brian, that for the Global Entrepreneurship Week, it's done each year in November. We are November 8th to the 14th this year. And the Chamber of Commerce, you joined the global movement back in 2011. So you're now marking your 10th anniversary with the Global Entrepreneurship Program or movement. Let's call it the movement. Before we get into all what's going to be happening for this week, let's talk about the idea of Global Entrepreneurship Week. And why is it so important that it is this global phenomena that's going on right now?
I think that people have always recognized the importance and value of entrepreneurship. And in countries where you don't have a urgency, either of high unemployment, of a need to for people to raise the standard of living, to innovate, they feel comfortable. You find that entrepreneurs come up sufficiently, they see opportunity, they identify problems, and they create businesses around that. But when you really need to solve real problems, when you need to get your people engaged, your young people engaged, when you need to say, look, you cannot depend on just getting a job. You can be a job creator. When these imperatives hit you, it is recognized that you need to catalyze people into action to see entrepreneurship as a choice, not something because you couldn't get a job you do. And so I think the world has recognized that we are all in this situation. And so 13 years ago, the Kauffman Foundation in the United States decided to put some money behind getting the world to celebrate the entrepreneurs, to make entrepreneurship sexy, to make it attractive, and to help cause a sense that we need to build an ecosystem to support entrepreneurs so we could have more jobs, we could have more businesses starting, we have more wealth being created. And so I think it is that impetus where we see the need to encourage government, encourage private sector, encourage young people, encourage your entire society to help build that ecosystem which will support and develop entrepreneurs. And so in 2011, as you mentioned, the Chamber, having been introduced to the concept a year before, decided that we should get involved. And so we've been the host of Global Entrepreneurship Week ever since then.
Out of my own curiosity, how does it differ to what was on the table before with the Junior Achievers program?
Well, junior achievement is a critical component of the ecosystem to stimulate and encourage entrepreneurship. With Global Entrepreneurship Week, you have the entire world, over 189 countries in that 1 week, focusing attention on all that is good and all that is required for entrepreneurship to deliver on its promise. And so junior achievement has been part of it, and they have actively participated. And so you find that whilst Global Junior Achievement focuses primarily on school-age kids from kindergarten right up to the tertiary level, Global Entrepreneurship is an entire global movement from across the spectrum, from angel investors to financiers to innovators to universities to support agencies the world over, celebrating this entrepreneurship spirit during that 1 week.
One of the things that you've mentioned, and I think is extremely important, is to and be able to empower people to understand that entrepreneurship can be a choice. But one of the things that you tend to find when it comes to people wanting to go into business, it can be a bit scary given, statistics often show how often, startups may fail. During Global Entrepreneurship Week, how exactly are we tackling that possibly sense of fear or reluctance?
Well, Global Entrepreneurship Week seeks to educate, inform, mentor, inspire, and support all those who are thinking about, all those who are involved, all those who are playing a part. And so all these efforts through education, through networking, linking budding entrepreneurs with inventors, with investors, with designers, with financiers, with expertise, with mentors. All of this we hope and we expect and we believe will help people take that plunge. And those who've taken the plunge, help them not fear failure, but rather fear not trying, fear not living out your dream. We want them to realize that many have done it, many more will do it. And there are chances it will not work the first time, but you need to be persistent and determined.
Mm-hmm. One of the things, and just to pick up from where Herma left off, Brian, access to financing, very, very critical. And over the years, this has always been pointed out as one of the main stumbling blocks for entrepreneurs. On the back end of things, in the background there, what has been some of the work that the Chamber of Commerce has been doing to really engage those financing agencies, the banks and so forth, to create that, to energize the ecosystem, as you put it earlier?
Well, as you know, the Chamber has a very broad mandate, and the issue of access to finance for a long time has been there, and has been an issue. And it's not an issue just faced by St. Lucia, it's faced across the world. Entrepreneurs, people who are starting off, the traditional financial institutions of banks are not necessarily made to serve them. A bank is made to take deposits, so they need to secure the depositors' money. So they must be very prudent in how they loan it. And as I said earlier, startups are going to fail. A lot of startups are going to fail. And so you don't want to take people's money and put it in high-risk activities. Banks don't do that. Banks want to put their money in sure bets and get a return. So we need to look at the entire package. And the truth is that the financial system in St. Lucia and the Caribbean and across a lot of the world is not broad enough or deep enough. It doesn't have enough instruments that can serve all the persons who need finances at different levels. So you need angel financiers, people who say, look, I have $1 million or $2 million, I'm going to put it in startups. I think 8 of them will fail, but at least 5 will do good and I'll make my money back. And so they do that. They are risk takers. And so you have that. You also have the important need of providing grants. And I think that is a thing we have to broaden. But also you need to teach people, how do you finance operations? A lot of people, when they put their business plan together, what they need to finance, they need somebody to sit with them and say, do you really need to do that? And what are the other sources of finance? Startups usually find their financing for friends, family. That's where they usually start with small amounts, and it grows. And as you establish your business, it grows. Now, through Global Entrepreneurship Week, what we created is a platform where persons who have great ideas, you found a whole range of pitching competitions where people get an opportunity to pitch their idea, show how it works, and have angel financiers come in at an early stage. And so Global Entrepreneurship Week understands the fact that access to finance is a challenge. And so they bring people together. They bring ideas together to let people understand. One of the things we've promoted is a need for, not just for startups, but for small businesses. They need specific products and services that is just generally the larger businesses don't need. And so these specific products, tailor-made products for entrepreneurs, tailor-made products for small business is needed. And these are some of the discussions we are having. We also look at the legislative framework, and we think that there are things that need to be done, and we've been talking about it, where you need to protect the entrepreneur and protect the investor, so that you could have manners of when your business doesn't succeed or has problems, you can make arrangements rather than just immediately go into bankruptcy. And so I think the action and the work at access to finance is continually going. There's a need for education, which the Chamber is involved in extensively. We've created a youth business trust that also does a lot of hand-holding and training, mentors to help businesses understand what they need to know about finance so that they are better able to approach financiers and manage the finance.
Nice. And just listening to you speak about that, interested to know some of the activities for Global Entrepreneurship Week that are actually going to assist the young business people or entrepreneurs, rather, propel their businesses and their business ideas.
Well, we start with what we call the Speed Consulting Forum, where we bring as many entrepreneurs together with a range of experts who are professionals in different fields who will give up their time to speak with the entrepreneurs. And we will do it in a speed dating format where you spend 10, 15 minutes with each consultant. You exchange business cards, you talk about what you need, they give you some quick advice, and you make a contact for if you need further advice. And you meet a range, so for instance, you may meet web designers, maybe web developers, you need bankers, you need financiers, you need lawyers, you need engineers, you need accountants, you need marketing people into sales. So you have an opportunity to meet these people. Free consulting is for a short period, but the idea is to give you a sense as to what you need, where you can get it, and then we go that. So we start with that. Then we go on to what we call creating an elevator pitch, where we teach entrepreneurs how to deliver an elevator pitch. How do you deliver that pitch that gets you that deal, that gets you that investor? And it's a skill, it's a technique, and we think that if we could teach people who have good ideas how to pitch the ideas, they have a better chance. We also have the Business Resource Symposium, where we bring as many resource agencies together to meet with the entrepreneurs, to tell them what is available, how they can access it, where they can access it, and what they need to do to access it. And so we're trying to do that on Wednesday the 10th. We also have the Cross-Caribbean Startup Huddle with SLUD Terra, where we bring a range of entrepreneurs from across the Caribbean to come together in a startup huddle where they talk about their startup businesses and they tell each other what they're doing, get ideas, get feedback, and try to get the startup in a better place. And of course, there's the 3rd annual Startup Huddle Awards, where those who've taken part in the past will be awarded this year. We have what we call the Unleashing the Power of Publicity in Your Business Communications, where the Chamber is working with Carly Communications to talk about business communications and marketing. Then we have the Women Empowered in Business panel discussion, which is being led by Boost and Lucia. Then we have Nudge Caribbean Launch, is a new program, which they'll tell you about, done by Advizi Inc. And then Friday, we have the Women Farmers Seminar on Consulting and Pricing, which is led by Massey Stores St. Lucia. We're going to be working with Helen's Daughters group, the women farmers, to talk to them about and explain to them the techniques of costing and pricing. It's one of the Chambers and the Youth Business Trust most powerful workshops that we've running for over 10 years. It's always well attended, and we get really good responses and reactions from that. And then we have the EWC St. Lucia Champions Symposium, again by one of our partners, Luterra. And then on Sunday, St. Lucia, Liza Value Women's Talk. Again, we try to be more inclusive this year, bringing in the farmers, bringing in women in a specific way this year. So these are the activities we have planned, but also we have other partners who will be holding events throughout the week, doing business talks, doing television programs, and what have you. But these are the beacon activities for this year.
And as we close, Brian, couch for us the importance of Global Entrepreneurship Week this year as we are beginning to emerge from a pandemic and all of the associated challenges that are out there with regard to COVID-19.
I would like to say that if we could all, as agencies, as support institutions, as national institutions, recognize that it is the entrepreneurial spirit that will make the difference. The entrepreneurial spirit will identify problems and find solutions and take the risk. The entrepreneurial spirit will see opportunities where most of us will scoff at, and they will create employment, create wealth out of it. Our economy has been hard hit and continues to suffer. But we've seen the entrepreneurial spirit step in, and we have seen new business ideas, new approaches to business being introduced. Not too long ago, we did the quick delivery wasn't around. Not too long ago, the curbside pickup wasn't there. It has been entrepreneurial, seeing a problem and finding solutions. And there are loads of other businesses and entrepreneurs who have taken the step. If we want to get to the next level, we need to find ways to better promote and better extract wealth from our economy rather than have others do it and we just stand by. We need to be leaders and we need to support those entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs need support because they are those who create employment. New businesses create additional employment. It may be small, but a lot of employment is there. Only yesterday I was looking at some information, and 2 out of every 3 jobs in the world is created and it comes from the small business sector. Small businesses generally start as entrepreneurs. And in this difficult time, we need to see employment created. We need to see people get back to work. And so I think supporting entrepreneurship and using this week, next week, to celebrate entrepreneurs, make it sexy, make it attractive, and make it easier, create that institutional framework, that ecosystem where we support and provide incentives and concessions and help to small businesses and starting up and startups. It could make a difference in our economy.
And we look forward to having those discussions right here on NTN, as we will be covering and providing coverage for the week, Global Entrepreneurship Week, beginning on November 8th. That's on Monday, right through the 14th of November. We've been speaking there with Brian Louisy. He's the Executive Director for the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture. Thank you so much, Brian, for that. Looking forward to the week. And when we come, all right, on the other side of the break, Herma, it's Moi Heritage Creole. You see that we're still there in that little celebratory mood. So when we come back, we'll be speaking with the mayor of Vieux-Fort South. We'll be speaking about that Creole competition for 2021. We'll be back in just a bit.
Thank you very much. You have a good day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Louisy.
Better yet, use soap and water.
We must protect each other if we are to beat this corona.
Together let us win this war. Be a soldier for St. Lucia. Together let us win this war. Be a soldier, together we can beat this corona.
So you don't become the next case. Avoid touching your face. I'm sure you've been told so. Handshakes and hugging are up. No, no.
Advice is you the please. Cover your mouth and your nose if you cough or sneeze.
Practice social distancing and avoid large social gatherings.
Together let us win this war. Be a soldier for St. Lucia. Together let us win this war. St. Lucia, be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
For further information, please contact the hotline at 311 or the Bureau of Health Education at 468-5349.
And thank you so much for staying with Lucia and Herma on this Wednesday, 3rd November. And we just finished talking about Global Entrepreneurship Week. We'll be looking forward to that come Monday, which will be the launch will be live on the National Television Network. As such, Herma and Lucia will be out for that break. That launch is scheduled for 10 a.m. on Monday, so make sure you tune in for that.
Should be very interesting.
It would be very interesting. And speaking about interesting, we have seen the culmination and the declaration of winners for the Vieux-Fort South Constituency Council's Creole competition for 2021. We have the mayor with us.
Good morning, Lisa.
There we go. I wanted, do we say his lordship? What?
You can say your lordship, yes, but I'll take Mayor Saltibus for this morning.
Because I paused there for a while and trying to, to say, well, what is the correct title that I need to put there?
Lisa, let's wait until I become Prime Minister.
Okay, well, there we go. So it's okay. Well, let me start now. Honorable. And certainly Sarah Saltibus is no stranger to St. Lucia. He's been involved community-wise for as long as I've been in the media. I've known of Sarah Saltibus, so we're talking about 20 years plus going on there. I'm serving in various capacities as well. So you want to give us a quick rundown of what your resume is, Mr. Mayor?
No, that will spoil the show. That will just spoil the show.
All right.
So my life started with joining the 25th St. Lucia Scout Troop with Mr. Mahoney Oje a long time ago, and grew into being a cadet officer, working in different fields in St. Lucia, training at the Defense Force in Barbados and Trinidad, and being aide to the Governor General for a while, being National Volunteer Coordinator. There's a lot of things. I try to get involved in everything. I've been involved in museology for a while. I was the president of the Museums Association of the Caribbean. I'm a counselor of the National Trust. There's just a lot, but I don't want to spoil the spirit of our discourse this morning with that.
Well, the spirit certainly is community, so let's get right to it. And let's talk about this idea for a virtual competition. And I know that COVID-19, doing away with our traditional celebration for Jeanette Creole, and now lots of things have been done virtually. So the idea to come up with this song competition, talk to us about that, and what was the response from the community?
Okay, Lisa, en chaque moment où vous mieux, vous savez, il va catcher le il va sortir, il va aller dehors pour bel petit manger, pour bel petit danser. So nous catcher le de comme là, on va bailler virtuel, on va bailler dans le computer c'est ça. So c'est mon ça week-end caillou, font petit chanter, font petit mouvement, et nous va célébrer. So in English, Lisa, the stresses of staying at home and not being able to go out and have fun with your friends, with your family, we decided, look, let's just have a nice little virtual competition just for fun, nothing professional, and invite people to send in their videos of them singing or dancing, and we'll just judge them. We got the corporate citizens of U4 to actually contribute and have a few prizes for them. And I must say that stimulated so much in the community. The amount of calls I got, the amount of parents that were already enthusiastic about it, it was just a beautiful event. You had, for instance, my 4-year-old daughter decided to make a little video, and for the first time on Facebook, she reached close to 5,000 people. Those are kind of exciting times when you can use technology to spread the message around. So in absence of not being able to go out, which is the right thing because we really need to protect ourselves from the COVID virus, we decided, look, let's take a chance. Let's take a chance on trying something impromptu. I must admit, we just had, 4 days to plan? We, as a council, we just got sworn in on the 14th of last month. So we got it done. It was nice.
And how do you see the competition, I suppose, moving forward, and given COVID-19 is now giving us new ways of doing things, if you will, or reimagining how we do things. How do you see this competition in this format, continuing?
Well, I looked at Invaders' own, which was very nice, and I said, whoa, great stuff, let's do that too. And I think it's a way to go. I don't think we should delve too much into that, but during COVID, let's do it. When we get a chance and when things are back to normal, and we might just get back into normalcy with COVID, So I think it's a good platform. We need to continue doing it. Look, it balances your budget, you don't have to go out too much, you can stay at home and enjoy yourself. But I can see us getting out of that. The problem there is if we get stuck in our homes too long, we will develop a new form of disease that will just destroy us anyway. So we need to get out, but since we can't, we need to make the best of social media.
But I also see it's helping our diaspora, St. Lucians in the diaspora to be able to participate as well. So I do hope that, you keep the competition at the virtual component to really allow St. Lucians all over the world to be able to participate and enjoy the culture as well. I know, watching the videos, and it's posted on your YouTube channel, I couldn't help but notice the number of young people who were there. And then it got me thinking that this is great because we talk about the young people not being involved in the culture, but it afforded them the opportunity to come out and to really embrace the language and that. So how do you see that as impacting your young people in the constituency?
Lisa, I had a conversation with the principal of the Vieux-Fort Comprehensive School yesterday. She was excited about that. And I see my office going into the schools and doing a lot with Creole, doing a lot of culture with art. we started planning for our Lantern Festival, and it just may be virtual. So we want to go into the schools, teach the children how to make lanterns. We want to get ready for Christmas for our carol singing, and it's all about tackling the schools first. Even with the whole development of your community, if you don't start with the children, if you don't start with our young people, and if you look at the way our Honorable Prime Minister is going with the youth economy, we have to get our young people ready to govern, ready to manage, and that's the only way. So yes, I'm going to actually sell this idea to all the principals in the south of the country, and hope in the entire country anyway, because we need to, you know. My little daughter went to school with her little madras on last Friday, and that was just exciting for her. You know, so if we can just get more people to get into it, you know, the schools, the clubs, the churches, everybody, I think we will just keep growing in this. We cannot do without our culture. Culture, that's who we are. You know, and it's about education. It's about spreading the word from one family to another, from one community to another. And you spoke about the diaspora. Look, people were excited in London, in the United States. Some of my friends in Canada said, wow, you know, why don't we do this on a grander scale? Well, I'm taking your advice also. I think next year we're going to start a little earlier, have more persons, have it done a little more professional. I must admit, I had a discussion with one of my colleagues in Beaufort. He was not happy that it was not that professional. And I explained to him that because it was impromptu, you know, I didn't want people to feel we're not doing nothing, so we did it. But I'm going to take his advice and seek the professionals' help next year and have it nicer, better, more, you know, more TV ready, so it can go worldwide. So.
Nice. It sounds like, you know, not only does this competition allow for the discovery of talent within the Vieux South community, but also it sounds like you're really looking forward to injecting some sort of like a new spirit, reviving the spirit of the community and getting people involved, you know, just awakening the participation of residents of Vieux South.
Well, look, as I think the people who know me know that I'm a worker. I believe that when Dr. Anthony recommended me for the position of mayor and the Honorable Richard Frederick brought it to cabinet and the Prime Minister and his ministers of cabinet confirmed that, it shows that look, there's confidence in myself and all the councillors that were selected. My approach to things is to get people involved. If you try and do it by yourself, it really doesn't work. Okay, I'm busy. You saw I'm running a little, you know, doctor's office. I'm seeing people every half an hour just to get the ideas in the first initial weeks of taking office. And you need to get the ideas from your community, what they want. Yes, you must come to the table with a vision. With a vision, we cannot go anywhere. But getting ideas from people, even from the little ones, and if you listen to my speech during my swearing in, and something I tell all my friends, my daughter watches me every day and she said, Daddy, you can do this. When she asked me to do something, I said, I'm busy. She watches me and she said, Daddy, no, you can do this. So I take this with me and I share it with people. We really can do things. We need to, even when we started planning the virtual thing, you had certain, you know, people saying, boy, you don't have time, it may not come out good. And I said, no, but we can do it. Because if we don't do it, then there's nothing. So doing something that is mediocre is better than just doing nothing at all. So I'm going to use that mantra to move into the community, to change lives, have people plant more, have people holistic community more, have people being more conscious of the health environment in the society. Council in the past, the way even I looked at it is that, you know, you have a lot of staff who just go and clean the drains and paint stuff. No, I don't see it that way. I see us as a mirror of every ministry. And when I read the act, it says that the community people have the right to come to the office and report on issues. And we also have the mandate to report to government and give them an answer. So I'm going to use this to make sure I make Beaufort a better place. But not just Beaufort. We want to, everything, at our first meeting with all the chairpersons and mayors in the South, I told them, hey, let's share ideas. Let's not develop something in our community and keep it there. You know, if something works in Labrie, I would love it. If something works in Viewport, I will share it. And we'll come and make it happen with each other. So that's the whole idea I want to sell to the whole idea of local governance. I don't think it should be about yourself. I don't think it should be about the mayor or the councillors. It must be about everybody. And, you know, yesterday we had a visit from the Minister of Agriculture and the Minister of Commerce to the flour mill in Viewport. And I heard them spreading the same news of empowering youth to get involved in baking and making that part of this future, you know, productive industry. So we have a lot of work to do. And one day at a time, 1 minute at a time, we're going to get it done.
Yeah, and you speak there about the youth and you know, the coming up on Monday, we will be launching the Global Entrepreneurship Week. Therefore, South, the town known, you know, for vibrance, but a lot of people do believe that there can be so much more that's happening down there. Are there any plans from your office with regard to Global Entrepreneurship Week, or just how do you engage your business community and aspiring entrepreneurs?
I am speaking to the District 6 Education Officer sometime this week. And I want to sell the idea of myself, along with a few business persons, spend some time to visit the different schools, the different secondary schools, to just have a, you know, half an hour lecture with the students before they graduate. Because you can't really allow them to graduate and then you shove this down their throat. You have to instill it in them at school. So I want to see if I can sell that to them as a good package. But also, Lisa, when I look at Viewport and just in Lucia, a lot of young people are just unemployed, and again, thanks to the Honorable Prime Minister for taking the youth economy under, you know, in his hands and doing something about it. But I want to put our government on the spot. I'm really in the process of writing a letter to Dr. Anthony, you know, hoping we can get a piece of land for young boys and girls. You know, I don't know if you've been to England, where you've seen some communities, you see a nice plot of land and it's divided into little spots where people go and plant, you know. We must look at agriculture as a big industry. We must look at culture, craft as a big industry. When you talk about entrepreneurship, a lot of people think it's, you know, look at it as working in a plant, working in a factory. No, it's about self-employment. It's about self-empowerment, learning how to bake. And not just according to Honorable Emma Hippolyte yesterday at our little gathering. It's not about using imported flour. It's about trying to make flour out of breadfruit, out of dashin, and make it sustainable so we can feed ourselves. You know, so those little things I want us to spread the word around to the young people that don't sit back and wait for the imports. You know, don't sit back and wait for the handouts. We have, I mean, there's a lot of young boys before who's taking part in the whole CMOS production. We have a lot more that we can do. Bamboo is underutilized. Our calabash is underutilized. When you go to Europe and you look at those things and the things people do with them overseas, I get jealous and say, why can't we do it at home? But under my tenure here, my aim is to actually make sure I convince the government to allocate a warehouse for the young people in the South to enhance the Prime Minister's dream of the, not dream, but enactment of the youth economy, and bring people in there, look for some funding and train them in different aspects of our social maneuvering. Not about, I want to live, the computers, yes, will be populated with everybody, and the bankers, the economists, you know, those who want to become a doctor, yes, but it's also, we cannot survive in a society without farming. We cannot survive in our community without having the place clean. We cannot survive in our community without having fishers, okay? We cannot survive without having, again, I'm going back to farmers, with a scientific mind. Because sometimes we're gonna run out of land pretty soon, so we need to learn how to plant, you know, in-house, using aquaponics and stuff like that. So there's a lot to do. I'm not giving it a chance that they will do it on their own. I think the young people must embrace the experience of the older folks in our society, and I'm sending that message to them, because too many of them figure, oh, I'm the youth and I just want to do it by myself. No, you have to actually bleed the education, bleed the understanding of how to do this from your older folks. And that's my dream for Viewfort while we spread this message throughout St. Lucia.
Very nice. You've touched on so much for us already, and we're excited to, go to the announcement of the winners of the competition. But just before we do so, one of the issues brought up during the swearing-in ceremony of the Viewfort South Council was the idea of beautification. What do you think, or have you formulated any ideas in terms of addressing that?
The beautification?
Yes, beautification of the community.
Yes. The first thing. Last Sunday, I quickly called Nemo's director to get a pass so I can actually get some work done on Sunday. And I drove around Viewfort and I took photographs of most of our bushy areas, the dead areas, the places that are infested with garbage, unsightly garbage. I also looked at the vending situation in Viewfort. We have a major issue with vending in Viewfort. We cannot blame the people. They need to make money, they need to survive, so they develop a product at home and they put a little cart or a little basket on the road and they want to sell their products. They do it because we have not really provided for them a proper vending booth so they can do it in a clean and healthy manner. So I am using some of my architect friends to actually develop a concept of where we're going to put those vending areas, where we're going to propose for a beautiful car park in Viewfort. The roundabout, if you listen to Dr. Anthony in Viewfort, it's not really a roundabout because it's a T-junction. So we have, my aim really, although I have proposed a little design for it, but it's to get the youth involved. I understand a little spirit of competition throughout the secondary school students to have them design their own roundabout. It's going to be for them in the future. And allow the engineers of the Ministry of Infrastructure to work on the winning design and make it more user-friendly, because a kid joining something at school may not be practical, but if an engineer takes it, he will make it work. So it's all those things. And the more, when we talk about beautification, I just had a meeting with Invest St. Lucia on Friday last week. We have looked at the area where we want to put the Viewfort, so they talked about park. I do not want us to spend another year talking about how we're going to develop the park. I want to make the business community as soon as possible to find out how they can get involved in owning part of the beautification of the park. A lot of times we sit back and we say we don't have the money to do things. But companies spend a lot of money putting their signs up everywhere. So instead of putting your signs up everywhere, where on some of them are on site anyway, let's use the park and put it in a nice green-friendly way. And it doesn't obscure, let's say, the view of the park, but you maintain it. And when people pass, they say, wow, that's maintained by Henneken. That's maintained by True Value. And so I want to meet with them and sell that idea to them and get it back done quickly. The council staff have started propagating plants so we can use to actually decorate the size of the tree. Because of the grasses in Lucia, what do we do with that? Let it grow again? No. I want to propose that when we cut the grass, we plant trees every 8 feet, causing a nice hedge. And, causing people to look back and say, wow, this is a beautiful country. And it's beautiful now, but we can make it nicer, we can make it better. So that's my whole plan for the beautification of Viewfort. And to maintain and clean all our facilities.
And I'm hearing you speak and I'm thinking that yes, with these plans coming to fruition, certainly we can spark young entrepreneurs. You were speaking earlier on about the farmers and fishers and so forth being so important to the economy. And I'm thinking too that tradesmen, St. Lucia is fast and now becoming very deficient in tradesmen and women. So I'm looking forward to in Viewfort South for us to be able to energize those entrepreneurs and then making all of those offbeats but so necessary professions sexy. Just before we get to the winners, Mr. Mayor, let me ask you about the Minister, Honorable Richard Frederick, when for the ancillary canneries councils swearing in, did challenge the councils to leverage the natural resources of the constituency and you know, tell the council that they ought to really become more business focused, business minded in how they conduct themselves, how they generate revenue. For you down there in Vieux South, what's your take on it, and how you thinking is that a direction that your council can go in?
Well, don't forget, our council cannot go into it. Our council is to be the advisory group for the different groups in the society, you know, and make sure that we engage the South African Community College in training, let's say, the officials, how to package properly so they can export. You can use a supermarket, you can buy a nice, you know, packet of Barbados flying fish. Sometimes you see ours and it's just in an island bag. But we need to learn to package those things properly with a nice label saying made in St. Lucia. When you look at the craft in Sozel, most times I drive down there and I pick up something, but I want to travel the following day. I remember when I was into the Governor General, we go and buy gifts. They're beautiful gifts, but can you really put them in a suitcase already packaged in a little box with a little bow on it, ready to give as a gift from St. Lucia? You can't. You have to engage a third party. So those people who are into manufacturing, including, let's say, the CMOS production in Beaufort, which is a big thing, it's not about just taking CMOS and putting it in a bag and letting a third party do it for you. I would love to see us in Beaufort going into CMOS soap and CMOS gels and CMOS jam and CMOS juices, but properly packaged and properly labeled. Most times we'll allow a foreigner to come in and do those things for us. My message to the young people out there is the things are available. The little manufacture plants are available even for your homes. You don't have to go in a big factory. So for instance, instead of getting an investor to get 5 acres of land, put up a big factory and employ people to work for him, you have 6 families with smaller miniature type production areas in a room or in the backyard in a nice hut. And they pass the things properly and come together as one business and export our products. Those are the things I want to encourage our young entrepreneurs to do in the south of the country. And in ancillary, I'm hoping that because it's a fishing village, you know, they can do a lot more, you know, I mean, not just move away, but while you enhance the fishing industry there, you get more creative in your, let's say, Airbnb. When somebody come to your community and do an Airbnb, provide them something that they can live with. Develop in the arts and crafts that in every home in, let's say, ancillary and canoes, because the way it is, you really can't, it's so hard to do a lot. But if you develop small, miniature type businesses and crafts, then, and I'm just giving an example here for Airbnb. When you go into those little houses, when you leave, there's a little pack, there's a little gift that you can buy. But that would mean somebody else in the community would have to produce them. And those are the things that I want us to do. And just a little funny thing, Lisa. I remember when I traveled once and I wanted gifts. I went to the Castries market and looked for gifts, and every gift I picked up was made in China. They had St. Lucia on it. We need to really get away from that. You know, we really need to develop our own, from our bamboo, from our calabash, from our seashells, from our stones, from our artwork, our wood carvings, our paintings. Those are the kind of things I want to empower young people about. Made in St. Lucia products, packaged properly, ready to travel, and even the collaboration with your customs and excise department of teaching in different small industries what is acceptable to travel.
I am looking forward to your tenure because you certainly you bang on with the ideas of how we should be able to move forward. And I'm looking forward to seeing the progress of Vieux South under your mayorship. So we want to thank you so much for that, Cyrus Sotheby's, who is the mayor for Vieux South. But as we're saying goodbye, Mr. Mayor, we're now going to go to the video, which has the announcement of the winners for the Creole Competition 2021.
Thank you very much for that, Mr.
No problem. Let's go to that video now.
In. And And in first place in the singing contest, first place goes to Elrija Murray. Second place goes to Eliza and family. Third place goes to Kirian Alexander. And in the dance contest, in place number 1 goes to Janice Attil. In number 2 spot goes to Ava Joy and Daddy. And rolling into third place is Rolana Gopal. And for Facebook most likes goes to Desia Bodie Ava Joy.
We're smiling under our mask there because young Ava Joy was she was just a joy. Mr. Mayor, are you still with us?
I'm still with you.
What was Ava Joy your daughter?
Ava Joy is my daughter. Yes.
So there. Oh, what a beauty! And anyone wanting to see the performances in their entirety can go on to YouTube, and I'm not sure if it's on your Facebook as well, but certainly on YouTube. Cyril Saltibus. Is that correct? Is that the channel they should tune into?
Yes.
All right, so you will get the performances, the full performances on there, and other information pertinent to the VA4 South Constituency Council. I want to thank you so much for this initiative. It was quite an enjoyment sitting back and watching everyone participate, and the youngsters, especially for me, that was quite a joy as well, because just watching them trying to really manipulate the language, get a grasp for it. And I was learning along as well, so that was good for me.
It is always fun indeed, Lisa, and it really was an exciting competition. I hope that some of the councils, like Mr. Saltibus said, can learn from that, and we can see that happening in other constituencies as well. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, and let it mushroom, grow into other things, and so it should be very interesting for us to see how we can really take our culture, our traditions to a new level. So for this morning, we want to say thank you so much for tuning in. We want to thank Mr. Brian Louisy, the Executive Director for the St. Lucia Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture. He was discussing with us Global Entrepreneurship Week. Remember, that begins on Monday, November 8th. The launch ceremony will be live on NTN from 10 a.m. Join us for that. And we're looking forward to having a whole lot of features throughout November, our young entrepreneurs. And remember, in November is Business Month. All right, we want to say thank you so much to the Mayor, Cyril Saltibus, for VA4 South. And we're looking forward, as I said, to some good things happening down there in the south of the island. Helma?
Yes, so with that, we are, of course, wishing you a very, very happy Wednesday, a productive one as well. It is the 3rd of November, 2021. And as you progress through the day, be sure to keep it locked on to the National Television Network, as we always keep you informed as to what's happening and the things that you need to know. So with that, we're wishing you a very good day. And until next time.
Oh, well, we should tell them what's happening tomorrow. tomorrow, Thursday, we are continuing to focus on the Global Entrepreneurship Week, and we do have representatives of Republic Bank, I believe it is, who will be coming in to discuss with us their own participation, what they've been doing as a financial institution as well to support entrepreneurs. So we're looking forward to that. And later on in the day, a press conference scheduled with the Senior Minister, Honorable Stevenson King, and that's coming to you live from NTN tomorrow. So we'll be having a shortened program in the morning, a half-hour program, to accommodate the press conference, which is scheduled to take place just about a half-hour later. Thank you very much. We'll be seeing you, God willing, Thursday. Bye.